All right, welcome back. CBT Meets Fitness. I'm the founder, Jill Bunny, four-time IFBB champion, and this is the mini series about fitness competitions. Now, I asked you guys questions on what you wanted me to answer, and this one by a landslide won. So, today in episode 2, I'm going to unravel and try to answer the hardest question I probably will ever be asked. Should I compete if I have an eating disorder? Now, there is not one answer that's going to solve everybody's issue around this. I want you to know. But I'm uncovering it from my perspective. And I know that I'm opening floodgates for one heck of a lot of comments. So my armor is on. My viewpoint on this, the house will win every time. Now you might think, what are you talking about? I'm talking about gambling. When we gamble and we go to a casino, we know that a majority of the time the house will win. And if you have an eating disorder, whether that's binge eating, anorexia, body dysmorphia, whatever it might be, whether you're recovered or you're going through it right now, if you decide to compete, you are going into that casino and you are gambling on that roulette wheel. You are tossing it up. And at the majority of the time, the house will win. And another factor is who's your dealer. It's funny, actually. Who's your dealer? Are they really there to support you, your coach? Now, my viewpoint on this, if you're recovered, doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to go through a rebound. Or it doesn't mean that some issues are going to pop up that they didn't in the past or the previous time that you had a disorder. Or you might be completely fine. I'll use my personal story about this because most of you know that I did have an eating disorder back in my early 20s and I competed. So should have I competed? Yes. I gambled. I threw my lifeline on that roulette wheel and I won. But I don't gamble because I don't normally win. I did. But looking back at my eating disorder, there's all kinds of different reasons to why somebody has a disorder. There isn't just one reason. And for me, it wasn't that I thought I was fat, that I looked bad. It was more of a control mechanism. So for me, it was a way to control myself when I felt like I couldn't control anything else in my life. And competing gave me my life back. And why? Because I actually gave up that control to my best friend, my coach, that helped me to be able to gain back my strength. And I played the roulette wheel, but I had the best dealer that was on my side, and I was able to come out the better end. Now, when I retired, was it a different story? It was hard. I kid you not, it was one of the most toughest times of my life when I retired because that was my identity. Did any of my previous eating disorders or control mechanisms pop up? Unfortunately, fortunately, they didn't, but it was because of the circumstance of cancer that I had something bigger to deal with than my physical body not competing. So I don't have that recollection myself. But I do have hundreds of other women that I've coached, and I've watched tons of other competitors go through some of the toughest times of their life. So when it comes to should you compete with an eating disorder, if you have one, I would be very hesitant on going into that. And if you choose to, you need to make sure that you've got the right team. And by team, I mean not just a coach. You need a professional to help you. If you had an eating disorder in the past, I would highly recommend, again, having a professional discuss this option with you or be with you the whole time. Because your coach is not a mental health coach, and they don't have the skills to be able to help you that you might need. And that's asking a lot on the coach and stress as well when they don't have that type of background. So build your team if that's something that you choose to do. And if you are a competitor, whether or not you have an eating disorder, my number one suggestion is to build your mental health right now. And that includes, legit, get a therapist. Get somebody that can understand those thoughts while you're competing, so that you have somebody that knows you, that understands you as you're competing. So when you're done, you're not trying to find that person and you feel all disarrayed, because you're already going through that type of treatment while you're competing, and they can see this whole thing unfold. You're just making sure that you got your prerequisites, kind of like university. You need those in order to move forward. You need somebody in your corner if you really want to do this. And you might think, I don't need that. Like, I'll be good. It's like saying you don't need a 10 when you go on stage. You need that. I guarantee you do. And if you don't think that you do, ask yourself, what do you got to lose? It just means that you're going to be even mentally more strong for it. So I know I may have beat around the bush a little bit on this, because there is not one answer. But I hope that this helped. But at least maybe you can resonate with a health professional to be there the whole time, or even ask if it is viable for you. At the end of the day, it is totally up to you. But think of the casino and how many times you've gone in there and come out winning. And are you willing to battle and risk your life over a show and an eating disorder? That's up to you to decide.